I usually don't get too much foot traffic on the DARPA internet these days, but I've had a few people trickle in based on specifically the post on the top left. Fella's got chainsaws strapped to his feet. It's telling of what the algorithm will promote, typically speaking, and it's also telling of the fact that people, you and I alike, we've been had. This is the last thing you should pay any attention to. But people are talking about it. It's frustrating. The post in the middle is me doing what I do, typically speaking, in terms of trying to help people. One of the many things I do. Usually posts such as that don't get any traction. I don't know if it's because I wedged it between the other two, the other one saying meta, which is also pretty sensational. It's also telling, but yeah, who cares? Obviously, the algorithm didn't promote that as well as it did chainsaws on somebody's feet while he skates around. Appreciate this too. I joke around a lot that I shouldn't have to get through to you by dancing around like a clown, busting light bulbs in my mouth, but most of you would probably enjoy seeing that. You might just circulate the video. Yeah. The Idiocracy video had one guy on there. He left me some emojis, which was highly ironic. And he told me something along the lines of, "Why aren't you viral?" And so I wrote him back and I told him I'm censored on the DARPA internet. Yeah. So focusing on the post in the middle, I want to show you what people had to say.
Like everybody.
And all it has to do with is the 7 wandering stars. That's it. Let me pause it.
You think of planets.
So you can see it a little bit better. And I had a couple different people chime in. None of them looked into this. They reacted. Before I continue, I set up a YouTube account, a couple of them eventually. This is many, many years ago. And I didn't start up, I didn't start squawking at people online. But I had YouTube accounts. But I sat back and I watched. Like some of you do. Not everybody gets on there and actually, talks at things. But it's more prevalent than ever before today. Typically speaking, when people do talk at other people online and in real life, they don't have a clue what they're talking about, typically speaking. And I want to stress that. I also set up, and this is after I figured things out, but I did set up a TikTok account, and I had a TikTok account for, I'd say, maybe a couple years, I think, maybe a year and a half, roughly. I wanted to see why everybody was, whining about this or squealing about TikTok. And this is the worst app I have ever used, just to be clear. It promotes the most censorship. You can't leave things on here that push the envelope and teach people things. You can't do it. It will be censored. Or at least that's what happens to me when I have. Yeah. So here are the comments. Not a whole lot. Kid at the bottom said, "Can you go deeper?" So I told him naturally. But did he look into any of this? Did he put in the time? You see, I'm looking for people who are invested, which means they're involved. And not one of these kids did that. Another one said, "So the one symbol with what looks like horns in a head, could that be what the horns on Moses were?" So he has no idea what Mercury is. He doesn't understand what it's symbolized by. And he's not willing to. But he's willing to ask me something else having to do with, the biblical stuff. By the way, I can explain to you what the horns and the halos have to do with. I'm sitting on that answer. It's one of the many things. But I'm not going to spoon feed that to that kid. And I'm not going to help that kid. Because that kid doesn't have a clue. He didn't put in any time at all. He just asked a knee-jerk question based on the lowest root, chakra, blah, 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 blah. Because he's not calling upon willpower, which would be above that chakra, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. He's using the red. He hasn't made it anywhere close to the fucking yellow. Yeah. You could say low vibrations. Even though all these kids are the same kids that will say, "I raise your vibration." And this might be censored on TikTok if I leave it on here. You're picking on these people. You're being mean. This is bullying. This is harassment. No, this is a fucking fact, and I'm pointing out things that you should think about. But again, TikTok promotes the most censorship of all the social engineering platforms. So then you got this other kid. So you're saying Mercury should be at the center, which is what I said in the fucking video. And the significance of that in this context, in other words, think for me, I'm unwilling to, and or incapable. I'm not going to spoon feed this kid the fucking answer. If he took the goddamn time, he could find the YouTube accounts where I spell this out numerous times over. To throw you guys a bone, he could have taken the text in the fucking video. He could have cross-referenced that and found the book that this is in relation to so that he could at least get the context to where the author's coming from, because there's a deeper element to this, because I can go deeper, motherfucker! And that's not including what I could teach you. But as always, what the fuck do I know?